So what brought you to Sidmouth?
Well, I was looking for I wanted to buy some bush, and I saw 100 acres of bush here advertised, and I came and had a look at it and decided I could do something with it. Well, I came from a farm, but I was a shearer, and I needed, because shearing's not a full-time job, I needed something to do in my spare time.
We bought a local orchard, which used to be Hewitt's way back. We bought it off Bonner at an auction. And I was born and bred on an orchard at Glengarry, so it was always in my blood, even though I'd worked in the city for 20 odd years.
What I want to know too, just briefly, is what it was like to grow up in Glengarry.
Great life.
Was it? How so?
Well, it was an orcharding area,
Yeah.
and orchard and farming, but most of it was orchards.
Yeah.
And several families, and there was a lot of kids around my age, and we all hung around together. You know, you'd be up, have your breakfast and gone, and come home at dark, and you'd be away for the day. You know, you'd all just go off together. I don't know, we just played in the paddocks. Notley Hills was up behind us, and maybe the weekend we'd walk up to Notley Fern Gorge and back again, and not think anything of it.
It really hasn't changed to me. And we used to come to dances here before we were married. There'd be a dance on nearly every Friday night before we were married. And we came to Sidmouth, and even when he was a young man, they'd go all over the place, you know, Rose Firs, down to Rowella, or and go to dances or playing badminton in the halls. And I think they used to go in horse and buggies along gravel roads.
Do you think people were happier then, or do you think people they had much more a greater sense of community around them in those days?
I think there was, but it wasn't such a large community, if you know what I mean, because in his day everybody knew everybody else. They were really neighbours and friends, that they used to play cricket or football or badminton. Sport I think in those days was a big part of life. And they just go all over the place. In Gravelly Beach, I remember when the road was unsealed, it was just a gravel road, and we'd play cricket or football depending on the season out on the road, knowing we'd be quite safe because there were you could hear the cars coming anyway, but there were so few cars that the games were rarely interrupted, because all the people then used to catch the bus to work in Launceston. There was a bus going quite early for the early workers and coming home quite late, and then a few passenger buses. When we went to school, we used to have go down to the river, either to Gravelly Beach or Swan Point, and they were both gravelly. But our swimming lessons, if we were lucky, the tide would be in and there'd be water to swim in, and if we were unlucky, we'd sort of swim in about 4 to 18 inches of water, and we could actually swim and put our hands along to the bottom. That's the other thing that came along too. There was oyster farm at Paper Beach, and that's where a lot of the oysters. We didn't have oysters in the river until then, and so now there's oysters and that you've got to watch out for, and you know that they might catch your fish.
Well, this story was told to me by an old man from Glengarry about a chap from the Glengarry district who used to walk into Launceston possibly about 100 years ago on a Saturday morning to sell his butter and eggs. And when he got there one Saturday morning, he found that he learnt that a friend of his was to be married that day. So he walked home to Glengarry to get his suit, and then he walked back again to Launceston to go to the wedding, and after the wedding he walked home again. I don't know what time he got home, but I suspect it was rather late.